It was supposed to be a routine inspection. It's a compliance inspector for the state. I'm used to quiet afternoons, clipboard in hand. It's verifying that homeowners associations, HOAs, are doing their jobs legally. Most days involve a few conversations, some photo evidence, and a lot of paperwork. But on this particular day, I walked straight into the kind of chaos you only hear about in internet horror stories. The neighborhood was Maple Ridge Estates, a pristine little suburb that on the surface looked like the picture of peaceful community life. Behind the manicured lawns and pastel-colored mailboxes, however, residents had been filing complaints for months. Fines for things like using the wrong shade of mulch, parking too close to your own driveway, or leaving a kid's bike on the porch overnight. My job? Quietly investigate, document the HOA's behavior, and file a state report. Simple. Or so I thought. I had only been there about 20 minutes. Taking pictures of a common mailbox area and jotting down notes about accessibility issues when I heard a voice behind me, sharp and accusing. "Excuse me? Who are you and why are you taking pictures?" I turned around to see her. The textbook. HOA Karen? You know the type. Crisp bob haircut, oversized sunglasses, expensive yoga outfit, and an attitude that could melt asphalt. I calmly explained who I was and showed her my laminated state-issued ID. I'm with the State Compliance Office. Conducting a scheduled inspection of public areas, I said, expecting that would settle things. It didn't. She grabbed my ID out of my hand without permission, inspected it like she was a bouncer at a nightclub, and said, "Yeah, right. I've never seen anything like this. This is fake." Before I could respond, she marched back to her Lexus SUV, popped open the glove box, pulled out a pair of scissors, and to my absolute disbelief, cut my ID in half. I was speechless. My mouth literally dropped open. Who does that? That ID was official state property. It wasn't just laminated paper. It had security features, embedded data, and a signature from the department director. It takes weeks to process and can't just be replaced by snapping a selfie and sending an email. When I asked her why she would do such a thing, she doubled down, saying, "You scammers think you're slick. Not on my watch. This is private property, and you need to leave now." I calmly let her know that she had just committed a crime. Damaging government property, and that I would be contacting law enforcement? "Already did," she snapped. "I called 911. You're impersonating a government worker and taking pictures of our homes." When the police arrived, 2 officers in a cruiser, the mood shifted instantly. One of the officers recognized me. "You're the inspector from the state office, right?" he asked. I nodded, handed him the 2 halves of my ID, and showed him my backup credentials and official work order for the inspection. Meanwhile, Karen was animatedly describing how she heroically defended the neighborhood from a fraudster with a camera. She seemed genuinely convinced that she was the victim. The second officer gently but firmly asked her, "Ma'am, did you cut her ID in half?" Karen replied without shame, "Yes, because it was obviously fake. I have scissors in my car for this reason." That line still echoes in my head. She wasn't just reactive, she was prepared for this. Like she had trained for this exact moment. The officers pulled her aside, explained that she had vandalized official government identification, which is a criminal offense. Her face went pale for the first time since I met her. She sputtered. Some excuse about how she was just protecting the neighborhood, and how was she supposed to know it was real? But by then, the damage had already been done. I was given the option to press charges. I chose not to for now. I told the officers I would document the incident and let my office decide the next steps. Karen was warned to stay away from me and to stop interfering with the inspection, or she could be cited and possibly arrested. She walked away furious, muttering about calling her HOA lawyer. I resumed my work, a little shaken, but still determined. The inspection revealed plenty of red flags: unjustified fines, illegal HOA rule enforcement, and a clear pattern of harassment against residents. Multiple homeowners quietly came up to me during the visit, thanking me for showing up and describing how Karen often acted like she was the HOA, even though she wasn't on the board. One man whispered, "She walks the neighborhood every day with a notepad. writing down who parked where and what color their trash cans are. I included all of this in my report. The state later issued citations to the HOA for violations, and an investigation into their enforcement practices is still ongoing. But the story doesn't end there. A week later, my office received an email from Karen. She wasn't writing to apologize. No, she was filing a formal complaint against me. She claimed I created a hostile environment, made her feel unsafe, and caused her emotional distress. She threatened to sue the state for traumatizing her and the neighborhood. Naturally, the email was archived, along with the police report confirming her confession to destroying official ID. In the notes from several residents, describing her years of intimidation tactics, looking back, it's almost surreal. I've worked with dozens of HOAs and seen my share of entitlement. But never have I had someone physically destroy my ID in front of law enforcement and still try to paint themselves as the victim. It's a reminder that authority doesn't always come with a badge or a title. Sometimes it comes with scissors and a false sense of power. But when you mess with the wrong person, say a state inspector doing their job, don't be surprised when it blows up in your face. The moral of the story? Never judge a stranger with a clipboard, and never ever cut someone's ID in half unless you're ready for the consequences.